Okay, aloha everyone. Um, we have had a really great 1.5 hour, and the next session hopefully will be informative too. So my name is Arjun. I'm with the Rotary Club of Honolulu Sunset. So we're very fortunate, lucky that this year we have this session on the Rotary seventh area focus, the environment. So the protecting the environment is Rotary's official cause. And in this session, what we'll talk is how can we tackle the issue related to the environment. So here is a quick outline. We are very fortunate to have our guest speaker, Dr. Athar Atasik. He is the chair of ISRAC, Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. And when he talk, and whenever you talk any thing about the environment, people talk a lot about the carbon cycle. And Yasser will talk about the Rotary's the net zero emission by 2040. So it's because carbon or the carbon cycle, it's a regulator of the Earth's temperature and the climate and the environment. So it regulates. So because of that, I will very briefly introduce the topic of the carbon or the carbon cycle and invite Asher to talk. And of course, there will be some time to answer, but anytime, you can mute speaking, um, but feel free to ask questions.
Arjun, could you have everyone mute? Someone's got their speaker on.
Yeah, can you please mute if you're not speaking? Thank you, Glenn. So let's begin at the beginning. Why carbon or carbon dioxide? Why do we talk so much about this? First of all, carbon, chemists like to write the letter C, is one of the most common elements. It's everywhere. It's in our atmosphere. It's naturally coming on the volcano, Big Island, when volcano erupts, there are lots of carbon dioxide. All the industries, when you drive car, things like that, and the plants, and our ocean, and the rocks, it's everywhere. And it's a primary element for all sort of organic material. And so carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is like a natural blanket for the Earth planet. So you got the sense already. You have more blanket, you feel warmer. So, and naturally, we cannot really make or destroy carbon by ourselves. It's naturally, it cycles through. That's what we call carbon cycle. And naturally, it has a cycle, but lately we have interrupted the cycle drastically. And we have added so much into the atmosphere. It's coming from the rock, it's coming from the fossil fuels, it's coming from different places, and not letting it dump into the sink. For example, in Hawaii, we have lots of coral rocks. We're destroying, meaning we're not letting carbon from atmosphere get into the rocks and store. So because of this interruption, there are many unintended and unforeseen consequences. So in general, so the carbon dioxide or carbon regulates the Earth temperature or the Earth environment and climate change. I have this plot. This is the reason is actually the data was taken at in Hawaii, Mauna Loa. If any of you been to that Mauna Loa observatory, that's where this measurement comes from, not the Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa side. And this is the best place in the whole planet. This is the data they use everywhere to talk about the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And they started measuring a little earlier, before 1960. And you can see it's going all up and down because every year, depending on the plants, what the plants are doing, season, it changes every year. And then overall, it's going up. And there is this, you don't need to worry about the unit, but there is some sort of measurement number, right? It was 320 and now this is old plot, so 10 years ago, 390. And then It's not only in Mauna Loa. The scientists can go back actually like 400,000 years because the ice cores, for example, in Antarctica, when snow accumulates, it stores some atmospheric air at that time, and using that you can plot. And you can see naturally carbon dioxide in the atmosphere goes down, up, and there are lots of reasons. There is a real natural cycle. It's not only human. But what happened is in this industrial ore, this is 1950, since then, it's this red line, look at it's going up drastically, dramatically. And this is actually the measurement yesterday, 427, same day, April 5, last year, it was 23. It's going up dramatically big, and it's like almost 2.5 times than when it was minimum, and 50% higher than ever before in the so it's going up very high. So this added carbon dioxide means, remember, we are adding blankets. So obviously Earth gonna feel warmer naturally, right? So what will happen if the Earth feel warmer in cold places? It may be they like it, right? But it's gonna melt the ice. And if ice melts, it goes to the ocean, everything flows to the ocean, and sea level rises. What happens sea level rise? For example, this is Waikiki. If the sea level rise 3 feet, which will very likely to happen in the next 100 years, and you can see I am speaking from right here, and it's probably underwater. So, and there is going to be more natural disaster. The ocean going to be more acidic, less favorable for all the biologic things. Going to impact the biodiversity, food production, and so many known and so many unknown consequences. So in conclusion, the science is, there is no doubt about the science, but the consequences are not fully known. So with that, I would like to invite Dr. Ashar. I'm not sure if I can pronounce last name, Tasik. So he is chair of the ISRAC, Rotary Environment Action Group, and he is in Turkey, and I believe it's his midnight. He is gonna lose some of his sleep just for us. Thank you, Ashar, and I believe you can share, and Ashar will talk more about the Rotary and the environment. Let me unshare.
I cannot share at this time. Arjun, can you allow me?
Let me see if the Brian is here.
Okay, I can see. Thank
you.
you. Yep. Just a second. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
But we see the view you should be seeing with the note on the side.
It's not
Sorry?
presentation mode. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just a second. Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
it's good, perfect.
Okay, good morning, everybody. It's almost midnight here in Istanbul. So let me start. Now we are talking about environment, but we are really talking about the future. And these are my grandchildren. And it's really for the future, for our kids and grandkids. The danger is with them, but more and more we are feeling it in our times. So this is something that we have to be more careful. Now, back in 2015, the nations agreed for 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. So if you look at these goals, it includes all seven, I'm sorry. It includes all 7 areas of focus that we have. So we have, for example, health, education, number 16, peace, and number 8, decent work and economic growth, and so on. And also it has environment. So we have climate action, number 13, 14 is life below water, and so on. So, and even the DEI is here, as you can see, gender equality, for example. So all these are here. Now, if you look at this in a different way, you see something like this. And in the bottom, we have the biosphere, the life, and above that, we have society, health, education, work, and so on. And on the top, we have the economy. Now, this shows the following. Earth is the only known planet where life exists. And so the sustainability of the Earth, the continuation of life is crucial. If this biosphere is hurt, then everything, all the society and all the economy are highly affected. So it is important that we watch the biosphere and take it carefully and protect it. That's why environment is important. The risk that comes from the biosphere is taken by different groups in different ways. For example, World Economic Forum, which has annual meetings in Davos, as you probably heard about it, and every year in January they announce the top risks for the coming 10 years. And for the last 10 years, if you look at these, if you look at these for 10 years or so, we have climate and environment related risks in the top. For example, this one has 4 of the top 5 risks are related to environment. So it is really important that we watch these risks. Another group that's looking at those is United Nations. United Nations call it a triple crisis. We have anticipating triple crisis, which are climate crisis, biodiversity loss, and the pollution. So all these are extremely important, and what we do, we have to take care of these risks. Now, I have completed this background. Now I can have some recommendations for you. Sorry, there's one more. I'm sorry. The second one is I want to show you two graphs. One is the warming of the planet. This shows since last May or June, the temperatures of the world has increased significantly. As you can see, in the second half of last year, and the first months of this year are almost 1 to 1.5 degrees centigrade higher than the average that you can see here. So the world is warming, yes, but it is accelerating. This shows very clearly that during the last 1 year, things have accelerated significantly. And scientists have been expecting increases, but they were not expecting this much. So this is beyond the scientists' anticipated increase. So this is important. The second graph I want to show you is, probably you have not seen it, and you may not have heard about it either. And it is it is about material consumption. The world is increasingly increasing its material consumption. Back in 2020, the annual consumption was about 100 billion tons, 100 billion tons in 2020. And if you go back to 1970s, then it was about 28 or so. And the way it is going, by 2050, it will reach 280 gigatons. This is much higher than the increase in the emissions, carbon dioxide emissions, or anything else. And if we do not do anything, this is the way it's going to increase. And this has a lot of implications for us. This reflects increase in the energy consumption. This reflects because we are increasing our food consumption, food waste. Because of mobility, increased mobility, we are traveling too much. Lots of cars, lots of planes, and so on. And also, our houses are getting bigger and bigger. So all these are pumping the increase in the material consumption. So this also has to be taken into consideration when we consider the risks for the future. Now, I have a few recommendations. If you don't have a district environment officer, I recommend strongly that the district appoints a district environment officer. Same goes with the clubs. I think it's important that we appoint a club environment officer who advises on the developments and projects and so on. And also, my recommendation is that all events be green. So you can use, for example, SRAG's Green Event Handbook. SRAG has such a handbook, which is extremely useful. Since 2022, Rotary has been giving global grants in this field. But as you can see in this chart, in this graph, the amount of global grants given in the environment area of focus is very low. It's only 5%. And the foundation wants more projects, more global grant projects. So they are open for new projects in the environment area of focus. So they are looking favorably to those projects. Now, We have a number of campaigns. I also strongly recommend that you join these SRAC campaigns. So the first one I want to talk about is the Million Solar Panel campaign. We kicked off this campaign in that we recommend Rotarians put solar panels on their homes, or on their premises, or on their business, or whatever. And if that's not possible for some reason, we ask them to donate money for funding solar panels. And also we recommend that the clubs do solar panel projects. A second group of, a second challenge that we have is plant-rich diets. We all know that plant-rich diets are important in reducing our footprint, carbon footprint, and others. So this challenge this campaign provides you with, recipes that you can use for 15 days and reduce your intake of, animal-based food. Plant-rich diet is important because it reduces the amount of agricultural land. We first feed the animals, and then we use these animals. Then that makes double the amount of agriculture produced that is required. So if you go to plant-rich diets, you can reduce significantly the amount of agriculture that is needed. And knowing that water consumption, most of the water consumption goes to the irrigation, to the agriculture, that also saves a lot of water, which may be an important problem in areas where water is short. So plant-rich diets is another campaign that we recommend highly. And the third one is Every Club Climate Friendly. This is in effect bringing the climate awareness to the club's attention. So you can join at level 1, level 2, and so on, increasing levels that can start with listening to some speakers, reducing your, for example, single-use plastics in your dinners or breakfast or wherever you meet. And you can also have projects. You can watch your projects, what will be the emissions of your projects, and so on. So this is also another campaign that we have, and I highly recommend you following these campaigns. Next, I will have some project ideas. As I said in the beginning, increasing material consumption is something that has to be taken notice. So one of those projects is repair cafes. I don't know if you heard about repair cafes. These are community events, community places where people who are expert in fixing some of the things volunteer, and they meet once a month or so at a community location. And those who need something in their house repaired, bring those, and those are repaired. And the number of repairs cafes are increasing significantly around the world, and also in the Rotary, at Rotary clubs. So there are repair cafes in, for example, Massachusetts, in UK, and so on. And it's also very good for community. The next one I want to talk about is the Library of Things. Library of Things is the following. Libraries have books. Usually we go and borrow books and read and bring it back. This is library of not only books, but library of other things that are needed that are needed by people. So you can have something there that you would use only once a year, maybe once a few years, or once a 6 month. So you can borrow it. You can borrow it for a week, let's say, use it, and then bring it back. This is also something that's increasing, and it's also very, new. It's a new idea, and it's a good idea. And in some countries, there are mobile library of things. So you have a van, and you have a number of things which are usually donated. You don't purchase them; they are usually donated, and you take them to a neighborhood where people are in need, and you can announce the arrival earlier, and people can borrow it for a week, use it, and next week when you come, you collect it back. This reduces the amount of things that need to be purchased and save material. And fixing the things is also saving material, because rather than throwing it out and buying a new one, you get it fixed. And unfortunately, fixing is becoming more and more expensive. Even in Turkey, where wages are much lower than US, for example, we are losing all repair shops. We don't have those, so people are throwing things out. So as a third one in this one hand is the collecting of secondhand goods, and you can recycle them, you can sell them, and there are secondhand shops operated by Rotary clubs around the world. Again, in US, in UK, in Australia, there are lots of these. You can also eliminate single-use plastics, like in the Every Club Climate Friendly campaign. This is also something that has to be noticed. For example, at Evanston, the Rotary headquarters, you don't have plastics. They don't have any single-use plastics anymore. They have avoided, and plant-rich diets are also coming there. You are having more and more food on plant-based. You can have projects in schools. A lot of competitions are carried out in schools on the environment. You can have, drawing poster competitions. You can devise drawing competitions, and so on, or taking pictures. In ESRAC, we have a project called Lunch Out of Landfill, which essentially eliminate food waste in schools. I think that's also a very good thing that can be done in local schools. You can help them reduce their food waste, and also train these kids in the importance of climate and environment and the waste. You can also establish pollination gardens in schools, which are also very common in many countries, with many Rotary clubs. Now, of course, these are quite general projects. But if you want to have something more specific, so for Hawaii, being islands, I think you need to carry some need assessment that needs to be carried and understand the local needs. But one that I can see from a distance is, of course, the health of the ocean. And in many places, they have established artificial reefs. So this example is from Philippines. It was established by a Rotary Club there in conjunction with a Rotary Club in California. I don't know if the sea level rise will create huge problems there. For example, in Netherlands, they have already dikes, and recently, because of the potential increase in the sea level, they are increasing the level of these dikes. That's something that's going on in Hawaii.
We have about 5 minutes, Hassan.
Okay, I'm 5 minutes. Now, if you want to do something in a developing country, we strongly recommend doing a clean cook stove project. Rotary has projects in Uganda, Nicaragua, and you can visit Rotary SRAG's page on this. Now, I want to say a few things about SRAG. SRAG is a action group which supports clubs doing impactful environmental projects. And has about 1,700 members from 90 countries, has 13 regional chapters. We can support you in finding project partners. We have a coming Rotaract program, and we have lots of resources that you can benefit: website, newsletters, social media, and so on. And finally, I want to say something about climate. We believe the climate is an important issue that's coming. So we developed a climate roadmap. Climate roadmap essentially targets creating awareness in the clubs. We also have responsible management of funds. So, for example, SRAC has moved more than $100,000 of its fund from one of the large American banks to a green bank, which only finances solar projects. So our money has to be used in supporting the climate. So that's something. And we are meeting with the foundation's investment officers, and soon we will meet with the foundation's investment committee. We have developed strong relations with senior Rotary leaders. We met with all the recent Rotary presidents and the foundation chairs. And finally, this is my final page. We have some initiatives on climate. Just like DEI, how DEI was brought to the attention of Rotarians, we thought we need to do the same. So we recommended the Rotary Foundation chair, president, that they establish a Rotary Climate Task Force. Now they don't call it anymore task force, they call it advisory council. So we are recommending that Rotary International establish a Rotary Climate Advisory Council, advising the board on matters relating to the climate. Second, we wanted them to publish a climate policy statement. When we told them, they said, come back to us with a statement. So we had a statement which has only two items. One is we announced that Rotary be net zero organization by 2050. Then they came back and told us that 2050 is too far in the distance, make it 2040. So we are now talking about Rotary net zero by 2040. This is still, we are in discussion with the Rotary president, Gordon McAnally. And second, our second recommendation was to train all Rotary officers from club presidents up and DGEs at the International Assembly, and also Rotary staff. Train all these people every year on the causes of climate change, and also what they can do as Rotarians in this respect to reduce our emissions. So these are still, we are in discussion with the Rotary International, and Gordon McAnally has promised that those will be accepted soon. So So that's the end of my presentation. So thank you, and I invite you to join SRAG, and please visit srag.org for more information about our projects. Thank you, and I'm ready for any questions.
Thank you, Asher, and I will definitely join this track. And so I think Frank had a question about how much carbon dioxide was released, or was it, let me find it, from the Maui fire. So in general, I am not very familiar, but I think that maybe 4 or 5% carbon dioxide in the atmosphere comes from wildfire, globally. So in that respect, there are like really big fires. Maui fire may not be that big, but we lost all the trees. Because of that, there's no trees to absorb carbon from the carbon dioxide. So it's more bigger than that, but it goes into the same atmosphere. Because of that, it's not possible to measure exactly from each individual smaller fires, I think. So, Asar, would you like to add anything or any more questions?
No, that's fine. I think that's fine. Thank you.
I would like to add, thank you to our speaker, and I would like to add that we have a Go for the Green scholarship, which is given to students who are intending to major in sustainability and environmental management.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Arjun, you have less than 30 seconds left, I think.
Yes, okay. Quickly, Asar, so how to join and what do we get once we join is, can you just give us some idea about joining ISRAG?
Well, I think if you go to the srag.org website, there you will find the join link, and if you click it, you can join it. We have an annual due of $30 or 5-year membership with $125, and we have weekly webinars which were started originally by Chris. So we have these webinars, and I think they are very, very nice. You learn a lot of things, and the recordings of these webinars are also available in SRAG webpage. So you can join it from the website.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the main room.
All right.